The CIA has come out in support of President Donald Trump's claim that recent U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear sites inflicted major damage, directly contradicting a leaked assessment report from a Pentagon intelligence agency. CIA Director John Ratcliffe stated that the strikes had severely damaged Iran's nuclear infrastructure, setting the program back by several years. While he confirmed that key facilities were destroyed, he stopped short of saying the nuclear program was completely dismantled. This follows the leak of a preliminary Pentagon assessment suggesting that the core components of Iran's nuclear capabilities remained intact. President Trump, meanwhile, doubled down, insisting that the raids had obliterated Iran's nuclear sites. He also lashed out at CNN, accusing the network of spreading what he called fake and unfair coverage. James Dorsey, journalist and Middle East expert, joining us now on the program. James, if your comments on what we're seeing here, first that leaked Pentagon report, the president doubling down, and now the CIA chief there supporting what President Trump has said.
I think there's no doubt that serious damage has been done to the nuclear program. How much and what that means, we have no idea. To be fair, the Iranians have conceded that their nuclear sites have been badly damaged, their language, but they haven't given any detail. The problem with the CIA report, and also the turnaround of Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, is that Trump insists on having a cabinet and senior officials who are sycophants and who support whatever he says. Which means really that we don't know what to believe. The problem with that is going beyond that is that it really becomes an acute issue, given the fact that that Iran likely still has 410 kilograms of highly enriched uranium. I think you can bet on the fact that, and there are indications of that through, in addition to the Iranians making their own claims about it, that uranium was moved out of the three sites targeted by the United States before the attacks happened.
That's right. But, President Trump again and again insisting that the nuclear program has been completely obliterated in Iran. The CIA chief, while, supporting President Trump, however, as we mentioned, he stopped short of saying that it's been completely dismantled. Do you think this will get, a reaction from President Trump?
I'm sure it will. But I think you've also got to go back and look at what I think were three messages included in Trump's remarks. One was, we've obliterated the nuclear sites, whether true or not, leaving that in the middle. What that does is it allows him to claim what he already has done, a spectacular military success. It removes him from pressure to get further involved in potential renewed clashes between Iran and Israel. The second message that he gave was basically, I'm done. I don't really care what happens. You want to talk to me, that's fine. I think what you're going to see there is a hardening of positions on both sides. The divide over whether Iran has a right and should be allowed to exercise the right to enrich uranium to 3.67%, that gap remains. So the likelihood that there's going to be an agreement or a narrowing of the gap in the talks Trump has mentioned. Iran has not yet said whether or not it will go to those talks. He's basically said it doesn't matter. Right. We're done.
All right, very briefly, the peace seems to be holding for now. Sure. The peace seems to be holding for now. In your view, what does this mean going forward now in terms of talks that you were mentioning there?
I think it's very fragile. I think it could break down at any minute. I also think, and I think this is really important, Trump gave Iran a carrot. He described what he basically saw as devastating damage inflicted on Israel by Iranian ballistic missiles. And he said he would not oppose Iranian exports of oil to China. Those are two major carrots that one should take into account.
All right, James Dorsey, as always, thank you so much for speaking to us here at NDTV.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, more news on Trump. The US president has publicly demanded the cancellation of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's corruption trial, calling it a politically motivated witch hunt unworthy of a wartime leader. Trump went on Truth Social to say that Netanyahu's trial should be cancelled immediately, or that a pardon should be granted to who he described as a great hero who's done so much for the state of Israel. He further went on to add that such a witch hunt is unthinkable to him. Netanyahu's trial began, remember, in 2020 and involves 3 criminal cases. He has denied the allegations and pleaded not guilty. His trial is expected to take about a year to complete. Israeli President Isaac Herzog has the power to pardon Netanyahu, but has been quoted by Israeli media as saying that a pardon is not currently on the table. And more news of President Trump. The White House has embraced the daddy nickname given to Trump by NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, sharing a 1-minute video, in fact, showing Trump's arrival and interactions with Mark Rutte and other leaders at the annual NATO summit. And this has been set to the popular track Daddy's Home by Usher. In fact, the text also said Daddy's Home. Now, this a moniker emerged after Trump's comparison of Iran and Israel fighting like school children, and this prompted the NATO chief who was standing beside Trump. He made this playful remark saying sometimes daddy has to use harsh language, which Trump acknowledged, and this nickname given by Rutte. However, Rutte's efforts to engage Trump during the NATO summit earned him the title of Trump Whisperer. He later said that he was not referring to Trump as daddy when he made that remark, but was just giving an example. Let's just listen into this video shared by the White House.
I just want to get your attention. Hey girl. I really want to be all up in your head. Yeah. Is it you say